dragonfly ran away, but it came back with a story to say.
Hello! Hey everybody, hold on, I'm trying to figure out where to put my phone for this live right now. Does that work for everyone? I think that works for me. So, how's everyone doing today? I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait to talk about this book with you. So that song was Dirty Paws. It's on the Secret Life of Walter Mitty's soundtrack. If this book inspired you in any way, which it most definitely inspired the hell out of me, watch that movie too. That movie was a big, very inspirational movie for me and Diego. I think we've both seen it a million times. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty with Ben Stiller. I'm doing very well. The reason I chose that song for today was because it was a very inspirational movie and a very inspirational book. Now, before we get to the book, there are two things I want to talk about. Two. The first thing, I want to say thank you to everyone that participated in the Vimeo video that was sent to me by multiple people, mainly Rita. I feel like she put it together. I don't know. I know she couldn't make it today. She tweeted that she wasn't going to be able to make it to our group, but that was super awesome of you guys, and it made me feel very happy, and I'm very proud of all of you, and I'm very proud of all of us working together to do this, to explore the world of literature and see how we can change the world together. I love that. So Merry Christmas and thank you guys. Yeah, that was awesome. So what was I going to I forgot the second thing. Okay, let's get to the book. So, there are two quotes I want to start. Yes, one person asked me something. Do you still have a Jen Guevara? Do you still have a chance to join the book club? The best thing about this book club is you can join at any time. You can not read a book for a month, or you can. You can choose to read every book with us. You don't have to. The main part of being a part of this book club is that you appreciate reading, you want to read more, and I don't know. So yeah, do whatever you want. We're here. We'll be reading. I promise. El libro es... Hoy vamos a hablar sobre el libro El Alquimista. Yo olvidé mi copia en español, entonces para todos que iban que leían en español, y no tengo, sorry, I don't have my Spanish copy, y no tengo mi copia en español, perdóname, pero este libro fue fantástico. This book was amazing. Let's first do that. We always do this first. Thoughts. What are your thoughts of the books? I know they have the books in Germany. This is a famous book. So I know all the books that we've chosen most of them will be in Germany. They will be in German, so it's fine. So let's talk about the book. What do you guys think? Come on, give me the one-word thoughts of the books. One-word thoughts, let's go. I'll read them out loud. Amazing, love it. Inspired, oh my goodness. Love it, love that. Breathtaking. Made me rethink about how I go forward with life. That's interesting. We're about to enter a new year. It's almost like I picked this book for that reason. Motivational. Inspirational. Amazing. Amazing. Inspiring for self-achievement. Love that. Connected. Love that. Philosophical. Very thoughtful. Woke. Great. Life-changing. Annika Fernandez, I thought you weren't going to be here. Inspirational. Life-changing. I'm so happy you're here. Wow. Great. Journey over a destination. Deep. Love that. Love that. No es de mis géneros favoritos, pero realmente me gustó. Love that. I think I'm changed forever. I challenge you, and I guarantee if we stay in this book club in 3 years, we're going to read this book again. We might read it again next year at the end of the year. So, hurtful. Why hurtful? Please explain that. Interesting. Oi! I love that. Increíble. Love that. Eye-opening. That's my favorite one. For me, it was eye-opening. Because if we follow the rules of the book, or if we really, maktub, great. If we really put ourselves in this world, all of the things in this book we already knew. Because it's the language of the world. Spirit of the universe. It's inside of all of us. So we already knew everything in here. Right? This just, put it in a way that we can say, that just makes sense. Made me want to achieve my dreams. Fuck yeah, excuse my language. That's awesome. Heart opening. It makes me wonder how many signs or omens I've missed. I know, right? Page dedicated for all the books in Spanish, English, and Portuguese are on albertorosendebrazil.com. We'll repeat that at the end of the live. Madhim. I don't know if I said that correctly, but that's awesome. It means amazing in Hebrew. El próximo libro se llama Tuesdays with Maury. Martes con Maury. Si lo puedes buscar. Dime, yo creo que todos los libros están en español, en portugués y en inglés en albertorosendebrazil.com. It makes me want to question my journey in life. Question. No, discover. Not question your journey. Discover your journey. Love that. I'm closer to achieving my personal legend. Hurtful because it makes me think about all I can't do. As now I'm in the hospital waiting for treatments again, how much my life has changed for the worse in these 12 years. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry that this is happening. But at the same time, remember in the book, there are hardships. And each hardship he faced was actually a lesson for him to learn and an opportunity for him to grow. And at the end of the book, when he's digging in front of the pyramids and those guys come up to him, he gets taught all of the lessons again, like the Alchemist told him. So perhaps, I apologize, I don't know more, but perhaps this is an opportunity for you. You're being forged right now in this hardship to come out stronger on the other side. Is the video really pausing? I really hope not. To me, it doesn't seem like it's frozen. Hold on. To me, I'm fine. I see you. It doesn't say pausing, connection, nothing. I see all of your things. Is it really still paused? Can everyone see me? Jamie Lee Carter? She doesn't really read yet. She doesn't really read yet. This is an opportunity. You can give her this book. Who knows? Maybe it inspires her. I know Diego, who's one of the most inspirational people in my life. For those of you who don't know, Diego's my younger brother. He's a constant inspiration for me. I mean, I look at that kid and I'm like, how can I ever be as good of a man as you? I need to learn. He read this book when he was 18. He did El Camino de Santiago de Compostela in Spain and France. He did the whole thing when he was 18, right after high school. And he read this book first. And I think a lot of this book and that journey shaped who he is as a man. And he's awesome. So, I want to talk about, for me, ooh, I love that. Jamie Lee Carter, keep doing it. You're awesome. El nombre del libro es El Alquimista. Okay, cool. It's not paused anymore. Solid. So, for me, there was a very important moment in the book when they talked about the past and the future and the present. And of course, if you guys have been with the book, our book club, I hope that makes you think of a question that was asked in our first book. Can anyone remember that? Talking about the past, the present, and the future. What question did Kurt Vonnegut write that Billy Pilgrim was asking, but really was asking the reader? Okay, I'm just going to say it. It was when... So, he talks about the past, the present, and the future. The quote that I wrote down... Look at this notebook. Isn't that cool? I found this notebook. Sorry. So, if you can concern yourself always with the present, you'll be a happy man. Life will be a party for you. Because life is the moment we're living right now. Life only exists right now. The past is the past. We read 5 books, that's done. The future, who the hell knows? That legend's written. Right now is everything we can take. And if we asked ourselves that question that Kurt Vonnegut asked us, how much of the present is mine to keep? How deep it was. How wide it was. It's ours. All of it. Every second of it. It's just our job to take it all in. Maybe we never will. But we can take in as much as we want because it's ours. Life is now. Life is not in the past. That's not even life. That's gone. It's in the past. And in the future, who knows? Because we could die and any moment right now is time to die anyway. You know? To me, that was just one of the most... That was something... I mean, I wrote it down. I marked it in my book. It was... You know? It's amazing. Because there is no life in the future. We don't even know. Something might happen. The world could end tomorrow. I'm thinking about a week from now. Sorry, that was my pause. My bad. Okay, are we good? So that was one of the most important quotes for me. And it's something I think we should all just be aware of. Every second that we're alive is the only second we're alive. I think that's really cool. Another one that I want to talk about is a lot about this idea of a personal legend. Okay, this is something that's very important because I see, a lot of people, and a lot of you have asked us that question, have asked me that question, like, well, I'm afraid of this, but the name remains. I love that. My favorite quote from part 2, now I'm beginning what I could have started 10 years ago, but I'm happy at least that I didn't wait 20 years. And then that perfectly ties into the quote that I love. The closer a person gets to realizing his own personal legend, the more the personal legend becomes your reason for being. And then, every moment in search of your personal legend is an encounter with God. This book was cool, right? No, we shouldn't mess with the past, Shadow Girl. It's that the past already happened, and all we can do from it is use it to influence how we behave and how we move forward in the present. And hopefully, that learning shapes the future. But we can only affect the present through what we've learned in the past that helps shape the future. You know? I really wish Diego was here. He's walking around with my parents. I'm afraid of achieving my dream and no longer have a reason to stay alive. I want to talk about that because that's interesting. There's a quote that I highlighted here. And it says, and I want you guys to think about this really quickly because when I read it, it impacted me. Lo presti, Mariana, do you think that you've already found your personal legend? Yes. And I think part of it is doing this book club with you, with all of you. It's been amazing. And it feels like important. I don't know. I do it every week. We all do it every week. Everyone that's here every week, this has become part of what we do. I love it. And we learn together. And you guys ask me questions that I hadn't thought of, and you make me think about things. And hopefully I inspire some questions that you have to ask yourself. One question I want to bring up. I'm going to read this quote. I'm going to read this page, this little paragraph, because there's a very important part, and you'll know when I highlight it. The boy continued to listen to his heart as they crossed the desert. He came to understand its dodges and tricks, and to accept it as it was. He lost his fear, and forgot about his need to go back to the oasis because, one afternoon, his heart told him that it was happy. Even though I complain sometimes, it said, it's because I'm the heart of a person and people's hearts are that way. People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel that they don't deserve them or that they'll be unable to achieve them. We, their hearts, become fearful just thinking of loved ones who go away forever, or of moments that could have been good but weren't, or of treasures that might have been found but were forever hidden in the sands. Because when these things happen, we suffer terribly. My heart is afraid that it will have to suffer, the boy told the alchemist one night as they looked up at the moonless sky. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams. Because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity. Every second of the search is an encounter with God. This is something that I know I've experienced, this fear of pursuing a dream. Diego and I were talking about this in the car yesterday with my mom. We were talking about how, like, Diego says, I wake up every day afraid. But I make the active choice to pursue my personal legend, to pursue my dreams. That is really big, guys. I love that moment. I just thought that was brilliant. When I have been truly searching for my treasure, every day has been luminous because I've known that every hour was a part of the dream that I would find it. God, this book was amazing. Right? Okay, so I'm going to start reading some of your comments and what you guys think based on what I've said and whatnot. So, Julianne Bairda, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I really apologize. This book only shows how much some people may not realize. Through that quote, you see how much you may not have known. It can be a blessing, or it could even be conflicting. The best for me was that when they talked about we don't have to run away from our heart, that we need to listen to our heart, I was in conflict with myself, and that made me change the way I think. Increíble. Getting past the fear of pursuing is harder than pursuing. Because every minute you're pursuing, you're achieving. Because you're pursuing. Think about the journey that the shepherd took. What was his name? Santiago? Think about his journey. He started in the sacristy of a church. Now, if anyone's Catholic or Christian, the sacristy is it's where people get ready. Right? The sacristy is where the priests, the altar boys, the service, the communion, service communion, they get ready in the sacristy. So think about that. It starts where he's supposed to be getting ready with his sheep. He has his flock, almost like a priest with the flock. And then he's sent on this journey across the world almost to find these pyramids. And then you get to the pyramids to only find out that the treasure you were in search of was where you were in the beginning. But had he found that treasure then, what would have happened? Tell me, what do you guys think would have happened had he found that treasure then? He wouldn't have been able to use the treasure. He wouldn't have known Arabic. He would have never met Fatima. He would have married the girl in the little town, and not anything wrong with that, but he would have never discovered his personal legend. And that's a big thing. I saw someone comment, I feel that right now... No, wait, where is it? How can you find your personal legend or realize and go after your dream when you feel you aren't good at anything? To me, that's fear. I don't know. But everyone's good at something. And you know what it is. Don't let other people's rules of what is, like, acceptable in society determine if what you're good at isn't valued. No, if you're good at something, it's valuable. But the journey is the most important part of this whole book. The journey to discovering that. Think about it. Every second, he doubted, but he continued to follow his heart. He could have gone back. How many times did he ask, I could go back? How many times did he think about it? All the time. Every time he was presented with the opportunity to go back or go forward, he thought about going back. Think about it. When he was in Tangier after working at the crystal shop and he made all that money with the guy. Hold on. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I'm in a hotel. I think they're trying to clean. So he could have gone back, but he says, no, I'm going to go. He meets Fatima in the oasis, and the alchemist says, we're leaving tomorrow to the pyramids. And he goes, well, what if I lose her? If it's real love, it will never be gone. And he thinks about staying, but then he decides, no, I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to follow my personal legend. I leave with you tomorrow. So don't think that the people that pursue their dreams don't have the fear. That fear exists every second and every opportunity. It's there to suck you in and make you feel safe. But that's not what our jobs are. Our jobs is to acknowledge that fear and then say, I'm stronger than it. And move forward. Thought it was super cool. And then, think about it. There's that point. I wrote it. Sound the alarm. There's that point when he says, I want my heart when they say we're friends now. And he's like, I'm sorry, it was weird. And he's like, no, heart, your job is to sound the alarm if I ever get off the path of pursuing my personal legend. Right? Think about it. The journey was so important. Like he'd found the girl he wanted to marry. He'd found everything else. He had money. He was going to be the counselor of the oasis. He would have been happy, but he would never have perceived his personal legend. And then all of that would have eventually meant nothing. That's such an important moment in the book for me, was when he realized, when the alchemist told him, he's like, all right, a year you'll be happy. 2 years? Not so much. 3 years, you'll be upsetting her because you're unhappy and she'll know she held you back. And then 4 years, who knows? You're not the oasis thing and you never know. I'm going to read some of your comments now. I'm sorry. He always said he could go back to a shepherd, but he didn't. Okay. Nameless Mathi. How can you face fear and find your personal legend? The journey is different for everyone, and he says it in the book, right? That one alchemist, he's on the right track. He's got to do more to figure it out. But you, the boy, you're already there. I don't have to teach you that much. You already know it. Just like that alchemist does. It's going to take him longer to realize that. So how do you face fear and discover your own personal legend? I don't know, but I think it's in asking the question. And then starting there. But remember, there's another quote. This is amazing. Making a decision is only the beginning of things. So you have to make the decision, and then that's where you start your journey. Remember, his journey started with the woman, the gypsy woman, who told him about this treasure. And he made the decision to try to pursue it. Then he old man, and he made the decision. And that continues and continued and continued. Everything built. And that's the thing. In the journey, he learned Arabic. He learned to speak the language of the world. He learned true love. He learned to listen. He learned to be open. He learned all of these things so that when he got to the top, the foundation below him was built. And that's why the journey is important. You get to the top with no foundation, you're just going to fall. Someone asked me if I am afraid every day. I'm pursuing a dream. This is the only thing I want. So yeah, I'm afraid every day. Dave and I were talking about it. The fear is present in everyone all the time. But the choice to acknowledge it and say, no, I'm stronger than it. That's why Anchors is so important. In that first episode, I talk about that. I say boxing. For every minute you're not fighting, you're dying. That's truth to life. For every minute you're not fighting that fear back. And you're saying, no, shut up. You're letting it win. DW in her pursuit with her anchor, that keeps her. That's why an anchor is cool. It's that thing that can stick you that one step ahead, and you can use it to pull yourself forward. I think that's a good message about relationships. The other person should always support you and be there for you, and you do the same for them. Exactly. But support you selflessly. Because I can support someone selfishly and be like, well, I know if I support them this way, it'll be better for me. But it's saying, no. Another quote. My God, this book is amazing. So, another quote. Anyone who interferes with the personal legend of another will never discover his own. So think about that. If you're supporting someone selfishly, you're keeping them from discovering their own personal legend, which means you never will yours. You should both be birds flying freely, and you just choose to fly next to each other. Sometimes you fly away, and then you fly back. But you're still flying together. Did I not pronounce it right, Mati? Read this book always sets me back on the right path towards achieving the dreams I have put on hold. Amazing. It's good that you know that about this book. It's almost like whenever you read this book, it's your heart saying, sound the alarm! You took a step away. We want to keep going straight. The only way to learn is action. Yes, love that quote, Brian. Everything else learned was from the pursuit of your journey. But it was in the pursuit, the action of pursuing, that gave him that. Okay, I'm going to read more things of what you guys are saying to add to that. So what I'm going to do now is I want to have this segment where I read your quotes to everyone, so it's like you guys are having a conversation. You know? So I think this book is about finding your personal legend and pursuing your dream regardless of any hurdles. Absolutely. It was the language of enthusiasm, of things accomplished with love and purpose as part of a search of something believed and desired. Anacat Fernandez, you always kill it with the quotes. It's exactly what I'm talking about. The language of enthusiasm. Think about it. When someone teaches you something and they're bored, it's never fun. But when someone's inspiring and they're enthusiastic about it, that's the language of the universe. It's what's that word? It's contagious. I don't know if you'll read this, but you have to know that you inspire. Oh, thank you. I'm not going to read it, but thank you. I read it, but I'm not going to read it out loud. No, that's for me. Thank you. Although the journey is very important, the ending makes me think about how, to a lot of people, what they need is usually always in front of them. But they always think that they need to get away to be happy. True. But then that's what Diego and I talk about. Diego and I talk about to have an adventure. A lot of you asked us over the summer, how can I have an adventure if I can't leave my hometown? An adventure is a state of mind. I think it was Proust, Marcel Proust, that talked about the journey isn't seeing new lands, but it's seeing the world with new eyes. I'm sorry, I know I completely butchered that quote, and I don't even know if it's by Proust, but I think that's something super important. Exactly. Carmen Aparecido, I can't. Okay, this book has amazing quotes and inspirational messages, the best way to start 2018. I wanted you to have this book to reflect upon the last year that you've had. I wanted to read it to do the same, to reflect upon the last 12 months of Alberto, the Alberto that no longer exists. The past. No longer there. That Alberto no longer exists. Was he every day taking steps, like Jordan says, Jordan Morello, my best friend, to better himself? I don't know. But it's important to use books like this and moments like this to reflect upon your past actions and say, in the past, this is what's happening. How can I learn from that to move forward? Because there's another famous quote. You guys are killing it right now. I can't find it. Don't worry about it. How do you know you made a right decision? You listen to your heart. Okay, I'll take a perfect example of this. You ever go to the movies with a friend and you're like, what should we see? Should we see Spider-Man or should we see Batman? And you're like, let's flip a coin. And then you flip a coin and it flips and you're like, okay, heads we see Batman, tails we see Spider-Man. And you're like, I hope it's tails. It's heads. I guess we'll see Batman. No, your heart wanted to see Spider-Man. I flip a coin because whenever I flip it, it doesn't matter what the answer is. The coin flip illuminates what I really want. Because if I'm disappointed in the answer, then I know that I need to go do the other thing. So that's one way that I know works for me. It connects me to my heart because if I get disappointed by what my flipped answer is, I know the answer I want is the other side. Pretty cool. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than suffering itself, and no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams. That's true. Diego and I were talking about this, and a lot of people have that. You always know before the coin lands. Exactly. The alchemists do it. They show us that when we try to become better than we are, everything around us turns better too. In Brazil, we say, the good acts cause good acts. When I was playing soccer, my coach would say, goals follow goals. Someone scores, you're probably going to score again. It's an energy. That was amazing. And when you evolve, everyone revolves around you. That's such a big thing about your behavior. My dad and I, we were at breakfast. It's so cool. My family, we were talking about breakfast, and my dad in the Army and whatever, he talks about leadership. And in the Army, everyone, no matter what capacity and what position, is leading in every moment. Because that behavior is contagious. Let's keep reading your quotes and what you think. Okay, thank you, Camille. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And it was Proust. Thank you. No matter how many detours and adjustments it made, the caravan moved toward the same compass point. Electra Hope, that is an amazing quote that I didn't even realize that I had read when I read the book. Everything was in pursuit of the journey because in his heart, he was pursuing his personal legend. As long as he had that compass to point towards true north, everything around didn't matter because he knew what his true north was. And I think that's important. Thank you for bringing that quote. That's awesome. About Gaia, we are travelers on a cosmic journey, stardust swirling and dancing in the eddies and whirlpools of infinity. Life is eternal. We have stopped for a moment to encounter each other, to meet, to love, to... Oh God, you didn't get to finish it. Do you think someone can go through a journey as hard as finding your true legend all alone, without people supporting you? What did we learn in the book, Nameless Mouthy? We learned that every single person he met taught him a lesson. The gypsy, through the old man, taught him not to promise things he didn't even have. The crystal maker taught him that some people are afraid to really come to fruition, and that pushed him to find his personal legend and to do it. The British man taught him that even though you can read books and everything, people learn in different ways. The old man taught him that not to trust people, in that not to trust people, but not to there are thieves and whatnot, but to always trust your heart. Right? All these things were taught. Right? To share this precious moment. Little friends in eternity. Love that. Wait, we still have a lot of time. We'll talk about the next book in a little bit. Alberto, I finished. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. He repeats that quote multiple times. Don't give in to your fears. If you do, you won't be able to talk to your heart. Important. Be aware of the place where you are brought to tears. That's where I am, and that's where your treasure is. I love that moment. But, Alexa Rosemo, that moment, that's something I want to talk about. Because the Alchemist talked about this too. He goes, when you're almost at the point of achieving, of getting to your personal legend, the universe tests everything you learned to get there. And often that's when people quit. That's very important. There's a meme that you've probably seen on Instagram or Twitter where it's, oh, congratulations, Leah. You passed your physiotherapy exam. Awesome. So, there's a meme where there's that guy and he's like looking for the diamond, and then he stops and he quits and he turns around. But if he had hit the thing one more time, he'd find the diamond. That's what it is. In that moment, before you achieve your personal legend, the universe is going to test you, and it's going to make sure you learned all of those lessons. So never give up, never surrender. I don't know if you guys know that movie, but it's a good one. We'll talk about that later. Oh, thank you, Angelica. What you just said, Angelica Inc., you made me think of this quote. When you possess a great treasure, About Gaia, your mom is always, everyone is allowed to join our book club. Let me just make that point really quickly. This book club is for anyone that understands that this book club is about love and learning and discovery and enthusiasm and just becoming better people through the world of literature, trying to see the world through new eyes, all of that. Anyone that believes in just that, join the book club. Read more with us. When you possess a great treasure within you and try to tell others of them, seldom are you believed. There's a moment I had in college. This isn't braggy. I never want it to seem like that. But there's a moment I had in college where I was talking to someone, and the person's like, Alberto, what are you going to be doing in 5 years when we graduate? I'm like, I'm going to be working. And the person was like, well, as an actor? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be working as an actor. You don't know that. No, I do. I'm going to be working. Now, do I know how? No, but I've decided for myself, I will be working as an actor. And this person was incredulous. They're like, what? No, you can't. You can't decide that. So many people want to be actors. It's so hard. Do you know that the percentage of success in our industry is this big? And I'm like, and they were like, well, but how could you say that? You might never, that's very cocky. And I was like, no. Cocky is if saying I'm the blah, blah, blah. I never said that. I just told the universe that I'm going to be working. And the entire universe conspired to help me achieve that one of those dreams on the way to my personal legend. I decided it. And it was weird, because then Shadowhunters happened, and I booked that, and I was like, I was at a party, and I might have had a couple beers, and I said that to someone, and now it's coming true. When you possess great treasures within you and try to tell others of them, seldom are you believed. So don't let anyone else say that's impossible, because that's not their personal legend. That's not theirs. That's fine. You don't believe me. But I guarantee you, when I get there, you'll be the first person to say congratulations. So one of those things, each of those days, you tell the universe. And it's not about saying I told you, because that wasn't what it was about. It was never saying I told you so. It was more just like, you can do it too. You can do it too. Don't forget that. So, guys, I've kind of exhausted my quotes. Well, not really. I have more, but I want to see what else. I'm going to start reading your quotes again. I think that fear is important and a part of our life. Without it, we wouldn't be challenging ourselves and overcoming our limits. Absolutely. If you're afraid of something, you should always ask why. My mom is big about that. My mom, I've just got lucky that I don't know what deal I made when I was like, I want to go to Earth. I don't know whose hand I shook. I don't know what happened, but I got placed in the family of some super inspirational people. And my mom was always like that. She was like, when I'm afraid to do something, that's when I know I have to do it. Right? She's like, anytime you're given a job, my mom had an opportunity once with 2 jobs. One that she knew how to do really well, and one that she knew nothing about. So she asked her boss. And she was like, which one do I take? He goes, why would you take the job you know how to do? You know how to do that. Go do the job you don't, the one that scares you. Because you'll learn. Because you'll be in pursuit. Right? The journey may be aided, but the decision to start the journey is your own. And making a decision is only the beginning. All things take time. It doesn't matter if it takes you longer than others to do or achieve something. It's your journey, not theirs. You do you. Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's also helping when people that annoy you, people that upset you, people that say things that hurt you. Imagine if you took everything that upset you and hurt you and said, wow, that's part of your personal journey. Whatever you do, that's not mine. I don't have to be affected by you. I don't have to let you change my world. I know what I want. I know what I'm going to do. It's my life. You can support me, but I can still learn from you not supporting me. And that's a big important thing. Everything happens once. Yes, thank you, the name remains. Let's talk about that quote. Everything that happened once can never happen again, but everything that happens twice will surely happen a third time. I thought that was funny, and now I'm kind of looking in my life. I'm like, what's happened twice that I didn't like? Like, what can I fix? So, yeah, I think that one's really funny. What do you guys think about that quote? What do you guys think about that part of the book? What do you guys think of the Alchemist, like the man that he met, and the way in which he met him with the giant horse and the dust and the sword, this almost godly entrance? What do you guys think about that? About Gaia, I'm going to read that quote. Don't think about what you've left behind, the alchemist said to the boy as they began to ride across the sands of the desert. If what one finds is made of pure matter, it will never spoil. Oh! Goldie Scorgi? Yes, I'm so glad you brought that quote up. That's one of my favorite ones. No matter what he does, every person on Earth plays a central role in the history of the world. And normally, he doesn't even know it. Why is that important? When you're in the pursuit of your personal legend, you give people the understanding that they're allowed to pursue theirs as well. When you behave in a manner that is loving, speaking the ultimate language of the universe through love, it makes people want to speak that language as well. This book was so cool because I loved it. I think they should make it into a movie, but they'd have to do it right. That's scary. I think the book is just as good. Yes, words of pearl, your comments are visible. I just haven't seen any of them, I'm sorry. I actually think the title The Alchemist referred to the actual boy shepherd. He became an alchemist. I think so too. Kind of like The Godfather isn't about Vito Corleone, Marlon Brando. It's about Michael Corleone. At the end of the film, he becomes the Godfather and people kiss his ring. The Godfather isn't about the Godfather you see. It's about the man that becomes the Godfather. Just like The Alchemist isn't about the alchemist. It's about the boy who becomes the alchemist. How many minutes do we have? Yeah, that's a really good question. I had to change this clock when I got here, so I have no idea. They making a movie? Oh, I'm going to look that up. Who's playing the boy? These are questions that I will ask later to myself when I want to know. Look at my hair. It got all crazy. So, I think the grandness of the entrance of the alchemist shows how people think that distraction can lead them off course. But it often sets them on the correct path. You could start on one path, but end up on another. Very true. Simon does love The Godfather. I don't even know what to say right now. All the thoughts just escape my brain. I'm at all... Oh, thank you. We started at 12. What time is it? It's what, 12:40 something? We still about 20 minutes. The dunes are changed by the wind, but the desert never changes. What do you think that means? Happy birthday, it's Lisa Amazing. That's awesome. Ooh, Amanda Candid Doc, bringing in old books. I love it. In this book, we see the real freedom. We can do anything we want to with our lives. Completely different from 1984, when the freedom was a lie or it was taken. They weren't allowed to pursue it. Now put those books, juxtapose those books, or compare those books. What do you guys think when we take this book in the context of the other 4 books we've written? What do you guys think? Let's talk about that. Now that we're ending the year. So when we have 10 minutes left, can someone tell me? Just say, don't have to acknowledge it, just at 10 minutes. Say 10 minutes so we can talk about other things. Because we have 5 minutes and I want to finish this thought. What do you guys think about that in context of the... Oh, what do you think... Let's do that for Cosmic Race. Way better question. What do you think about the universal language of the universe, of the world? What do you guys think about that? This is your favorite book so far. Awesome. Paulo Coelho es el autor del Alchemista. Paulo Coelho. Expression. Interesting. Universal language is to have no fear. Interesting. Love is the universal language of the world. Yes. I think it's a reality. I agree. I know it's real. I know it's real. It's those moments when you're with your best friends and something happens and you're all on the same page without saying anything. Diego Felipe made it, everybody. Hey, buddy, what's up? I wish you were in the room with me. I think people should learn to use the language more. I think people need to listen for it because it's there. Everyone speaks it. Everyone speaks universal language. It's something they talk about. It's universal because it's no words. No one has to learn it. It's fascinating. I got a surprise for you guys. the man, the myth, the legend, Diego Felipe, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, guys?
So, Diego, we talked about the quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about it really quickly. Maybe your personal journey with The Alchemist.
Like what? Like when I read it and stuff?
When you read it, and then what you've taken from it now that you've pushed forward into your personal journey of life. Now, this is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this guy. He's my brother, most inspiring person I know, and someone that I think actively lives the pursuit of their personal journey every day. And that's why he's an awesome brother. I got lucky. So, Diego, take the seat. You've got about 5 minutes.
All right, 5 minutes. So I first read this book when I was 18 years old, and I was in the process of making my way to Spain, where I was going to walk across Spain, which is incredible because part of it takes place in the south of Spain. So, but I was doing the Camino de Santiago, which is a walk across northern Spain. You start in France, walk over the Pyrenees, and end in Santiago de Compostela. But bottom line is that this book was at an incredible time in my life because this is just after I graduated high school when I was taking the first steps toward what is to be whatever my destiny was in life. I was going to college, going to be on my own, going to have to make my own decisions about what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, how I wanted to start guiding my life. So part that came into it was that the universe collaborates to make it happen if it's what you're supposed to do, if it is your destiny. And I very much felt that on the walk, and then when I got back, when I started actually pursuing something that I was passionate about, that I loved, and I saw things starting to come together. And as long as you keep that eye open, that third eye, that universal language, as long as you're open to that, you'll start seeing that. You'll start seeing the universe start to collaborate, whether it's when you look back and see everything that you've done, whether it's when you look at what you're doing right now and seeing that things are kind of coming together, or even at times when it gets hard. I mean, in the Alchemist, we see a lot of times where he has the choice to go an easier way, to maybe not continue his journey, to maybe move in a different direction, but he decides to keep going. And the universe, I feel like, always gives you an out, too. It's always going to give you an easy path. But I think it's not going to make it easy. And I think a lot of what holds us back is fear. And
Are you afraid?
I'm afraid every day. I'm afraid every day of my life, especially being a filmmaker and photographer, putting stuff out there and getting feedback and not necessarily just executing a job, but it's a job that I put a lot of my own thoughts into. And that's extremely scary when you know that there are times that people might not agree with you or might not like what you're doing or might tell you it's complete crap. You know, so every day I make the choice to face my fears, to step even closer to my destiny, to answer the universe's call. But that's an everyday decision about my own fear, about what I am afraid of. The part of why I do what I do, why I take photos, why I make videos, is because it scares me. Put whatever superlative you want. It scares me a lot. It's so scary. And every day when I go out and do that, I become a better person because I say, wow, look at what I'm capable of. Look at the fear I was able to overcome. I mean, it paralyzes me almost.
So to me, what Diego's expressing, if any Game of Thrones fans are out there, it's what do we say to fear? Not today. Not today. I know it's death, but fear, not today. Now, so we're going to talk about really quickly. Diego, thank you for hopping in.
Yeah.
One sec.
I know it wasn't too directed.
No, it's awesome. You want to hop in right here?
No, that's right. I'm going to actually go join Mother.
Okay, cool. I'll see you. I'll be
Bye,
here.
guys.
We have
Thank you
about
so
10
much.
minutes. We have
Fantastic book. I hope you're enjoying it.
We finished it.
Finished. Okay.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so now we're going to
fantastic.
talk about...
See ya.
Thank you, guys. So now, we've read 5 books. 5 books? We started off with Slaughterhouse-Five. Then we read To Kill a Mockingbird. Then we read 1984. Then we read The Diary of a Young Girl. And then we read The Alchemist. Thank you, Nicole. 10 minutes. I nailed it. What do you guys think about all of these books that we've read? How are they connected? How do you, when you look at them as an entire picture, almost like a Tralfamadorian, you look at the books, not as separate books, but as one continuous version of the universal language of the world. What have we learned? What are lessons you've picked up? What are things you see that connect? Tell me, what do you guys think? 5 books, exactly. But why? What can we connect with all these books? These books that I chose randomly. The only one that I had with purpose, not only, okay, I had purpose, but what do you guys think? Acceptance, interesting. Motivated me not to give up. All about the journey, I love that. Really about humanity, different kinds of freedom, different kinds of captivity, love that. Puedes publicar la lista de los libros que han leído en Instagram, claro. Kill a Mockingbird was the best book I read this year. Awesome, love that. In the beginning of the book, the king of Salem says the world's biggest lie is that our lives are controlled by fate. All about the journey for you as a reader and as a person. I love that. With a personal journey which can define you. Face your fears and live your dreams. It will matter in the end. Yes. Thank you for that. Connecting people all over the world. I didn't do it. The books did it. We just all were enthusiastic and wanted to talk about it. Don't be scared of what you have to do. Motivate us to follow our hearts, follow our dreams, not to give up on life, and always do it with love and integrity. Yes. Teach me how to live better and enjoy better my life. Let's take one lesson from each book. For me, Slaughterhouse-Five. How much of the present is mine? I thought about how much of the present is mine, how deep it was, how wide it was. To Kill a Mockingbird. One of the biggest lessons I remember is, don't ever get offended when someone calls you a bad word. That just shows how sad they are. Which means, to me also, within connection to this book, don't let anyone try to skew the image of your personal dream, your personal legend, because that is not their job. They have their own personal legends. Leah, I love that. Use fear as a motivator, not as something to hold you back, not as chains. That's something I think we can get from this book. What can we learn from the Diary of a Young Girl? Beauty exists in all things, and even in captivity, she was able to free herself through art and writing. But she was able to also acknowledge the beauty in everyone and everything. Love that. And then we talk about 1984. Always be aware. Always find your humanity and don't let anyone take it from you. Right? I think that's cool. Choices, perseverance, and the effective things I took away from this book. Cause and effect are the things I took. Choices and perseverance. Love that. Love that. To see the beauty. I'm sorry, guys. It's Christmas and I kind of fell off the wagon with the merch. In the sense that I haven't thought about it. This new year, we'll talk about it in January. Thank you for the 5. Thank you, 5. If you guys ever were in theater, that's what you do when your stage manager says, all right, 5 minutes to curtain. You say, thank you, 5. What's done is done and cannot be undone. That's the Scottish play, but true. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. That is an amazing quote. I'm writing it down. I'm gonna get a tattooed on my face. A book tour, that'd be cool. So, siempre hay una manera de escuchar nuestra voz. There's always a way to hear your own voice. You just have to listen for it and look for it. Movie club, we'll talk about it. I'm going to talk to Diego about that, see if that's something he's interested in. I know he's going to be very busy. Movies are easier. You can do like one movie a month, so everyone has a whole month to watch the movie, and then we have a live. But we'll talk about that. I'm going to think about that in the new year, bring that question up again. So we have 5 minutes, so let's talk about the next book. The next book is Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. If someone wants to post it down here in the comment sections, we can get it going. So Tuesdays with Maury. After that is Fahrenheit 451. After that is Catch 22. And I'm thinking of doing another book that my friend gave me in college that I haven't read yet. I found it. It's called Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. But don't hold me to that. I'm thinking about it. But anyway, I have I have the original list, and anyway. So that Thank you, Angelica Inc. Okay, before we go, and remind everyone now that we have a dedicated part of Rosende Reads on the website, albertobrazil.com. And they have the PDFs of books in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, and all the lives are there. Thank you, Camille, for writing. Tuesdays morning, Mitch Album. Now, we have about a few minutes left. I'm going to wait till the clock ticks down for this last one. Everyone, I want to say congratulations. We read 5 books this year. And if you hadn't read any other books, that's okay. You still read 5. 5 great books. 5 books that you read with people around the world. You guys should look at that. Think of everyone that's commenting on this page. Think of everyone you've talked to about the book club. Think about this. You guys have read books with people around the world. You've heard different perspectives. You've seen questions being asked. And for everyone that's been here every single live, or everyone that's been here for every book, or everyone that's been here for one live, you made a commitment to reading, and you were here. So you guys should all congratulate yourselves. Right now, I want you to look at yourself and be like, yeah, I did it. Now, we look forward, because the only way, once you go forward, once you get in, you can't go back. The only thing you can do, and the only thing that's worth reading, wasting your time on, is how to move forward. Moving forward, we have Tuesdays with Maury, which, if this book is a great way to reflect on the year you've had and how you move forward, Tuesdays with Maury will give you a lot of questions to ask, which is why I decided to choose it for January. So that moving into this new year, new me idea, yeah, every year, that's amazing that you have a day where you could be like, what do I want to accomplish this year? So, I have an assignment. I want you to write down your New Year's resolutions, the things you want to do in this new year. And then in January, on our first live, which will be the first week of January, that Saturday, which I believe is the... We'll worry about that later. I'll tweet about it, because we have a lot of time. That first Saturday will be the first book for the... I'll tweet about all of how many chapters and whatever. It's really easy to read. We'll probably read the whole book in 2 weeks. But bring your New Year's resolutions. I have 2 minutes left. So bring your New Year's resolutions, and I'll read what mine are for the coming year. So you guys can see how I shape what I'm thinking of and what I want to be. And how I want to be looking back at Alberto next year. So next year when we say we've read 17 books, we can look back and be like, wow, look at our New Year's resolutions. How can we move forward? Happy holidays. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. For those of you that are celebrating Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. For those of you selling any other holiday, have a blessed holiday. I hope it's filled with love and kindness and more books and reading. Happy New Year to everyone. I'll see you guys next year. Get the joke? So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for an amazing last 5 months of this year, for helping shape how I'm going to think about my life moving forward and how we're going to read more. I love that. What else? This year, I really take the time to just look at your family and be like, wow, these people are helping me achieve my personal legend regardless of support or not. And I want you to continue to think about your personal legends. And like Jordan always says in Anchors and other things, what steps are you taking every day to make sure that you are one step closer to your personal legend? Because every step in search of that personal legend is an encounter with God. Hey, Pops. So we have 32 seconds left. Guys, thank you for an amazing year. I can't wait to see you guys in January. I will tweet about the information for the coming up, for the next lives and whatnot. Yeah. So have a great rest of the holiday. Enjoy everything. Embrace everything. And remember, life only exists in the present.